There's a lot going on when you're getting ready to buy a home, or maybe even in the process of buying a home. So today I really want to sit with you guys and go over the most costly mistakes that I have personally seen over the last 20 years of being in real estate. We all know the typical stuff, like the fact that photos are edited to annoyingly perfect amounts just to get you to the house in the first place. And then things like your dad will tell you, check for smells or check for water leaks on the ceiling. But I want to talk about the not so obvious things today. There are two main things that you really can't change about a house, and it's going to be the lot and the location. You can tear down walls, you can paint walls, you can renovate cabinets, put on new countertops, basically anything on the interior you could probably make happen. And with the lot, you may be able to do a few tweaks here and there, but short of getting a bobcat and a ton of dirt and moving it all around, there's not going to be a lot that you can do with it. And the location, well, that you're stuck with. You're going to be living here. Your kids are going to be living here, going to school here. Do you even like the community that you are looking in and willing to purchase in? Really take the time to check out community and location before you even start looking at houses. It's my biggest pet peeve when people just go straight for housing and you're looking online and you see the most beautiful house ever. And I get it. I do the same thing, but what if you don't like the area that that house sits in? Take some time. My personal favorite, you guys have heard me say this on other videos, go to Publix, go to Target, go to Walmart, wherever it is that you want to go, get a shopping cart, act like you're shopping around, but really we're people watching. And it can make for some fun times, but really look at these people and think, is this who I want to do community with? Because whether you want to or not, you are. Then think about the neighborhood itself. Do you have kids and you're gonna be wanting to have other kids in the neighborhood for your children to be able to play with? Do you work long hours, or maybe you travel a lot? So maybe a townhome might be a little bit better, or a single family home that has an HOA that's gonna pay to have all of the lawns maintained, because that's not something you're going to be really keeping up with. Think about how you live before spending $500,000 on something you wish you hadn't. The reason you might be watching right now is because you're thinking about making a move. And if you're thinking about making a move to the suburbs of Georgia, I hope that you'll watch some of my other videos and maybe even possibly reach out. I'm here to be a resource. The words "as is" can be a little ominous. Think of it as meeting someone and they're admitting up front, hey, I've got a little baggage. Transparency can be a gift, and so can the home inspection. If you see a home being advertised as is, don't just write it off. Legally, you are entitled to have a home inspection if you wrote that into the contract. That doesn't mean that the seller has to do anything about it. However, it still gives you the option to have that inspection, know what's going on, and knowledge is power. It can let you have comfort knowing that the home isn't really as bad as you thought and you definitely want to move forward. Or you still have the option to go back and try and renegotiate the terms if that's something that you feel to do. The seller isn't obligated to do it, but if you choose not to move forward, you can get your earnest money returned to you. And there really was nothing other than the inspection fee that you came out of pocket with. And the kicker, the seller is now obligated to update their seller's disclosure and let any buyers in the future know about what they found out in that inspection. Knowing your finances is probably the biggest factor when looking to buy a home, and you should really talk to a lender and get all of this squared away before even setting foot in the first house to look at. Finding that lender is key. And so many times I have found that people are thinking that the bank that they bank with is going to be the perfect lender, assuming you're going to get the best rate or the best experience with the bank that you currently bank with. I haven't had exactly the greatest experiences. I'm not saying it's going to be a bad experience. What I am saying is that in my 20 years, I haven't had any good ones. I can't speak for all realtors, but I've promised you guys on this channel to always be transparent, and here it is. I'm going to always ask a buyer that's working with me to at least talk to and interview the lender that I know and trust, and here's why. First off, like I said, I've worked with him. not just once, but for years. I know his work ethic. I know if I call him on a Saturday or a Sunday night or at dinner on Thursday, he's going to take my call. If I text him at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, which I shouldn't, but I have when times call, he's going to respond to me because he knows time is of the essence. And when it's your money on the line, you're going to be thankful that he is going to respond so quickly. I know how hard he'll work for my clients, and selfishly, there is a level of control that I like to have in the process. But again, if it's your earnest money that's on the line, you're going to appreciate the fact that we have the control over it compared to me dialing a 1-800 number to a bank and hoping for the best. I can't tell you what any other lender is going to do, but I can tell you it is worth shopping around and making sure that you have the right relationship with the lender, because this is probably the biggest deal throughout the entire process. Another major mistake that I've seen people make is making really big changes to their finances either right before or even during the buying process. I'm in the camp of it is never too early to talk to a lender, and I'm talking like years ahead of time, because a lender can also almost provide like a financial advisor type, right? So that you have a plan of when you're trying to purchase. They can tell you how much you need to save for a down payment, how much you need to save for closing costs, what you really need to look at as far as paying off bills or keeping things open. A lot of people think that they need to pay off all of their credit cards and then close them so that those accounts aren't open for when you're buying, but that can actually hurt you, because now you don't have revolving accounts showing that you have any credit. You just closed all of your credit, and now the lender is looking and thinking, well, can they pay? I don't know. So closing all of those accounts is not necessarily the right thing to do, and that's why I always say talk to a lender before doing anything. Let them look at the finances with you and tell you what you should be doing in order to prepare to make that big purchase. Okay, now don't get it twisted. Don't think that just because you are under contract that means that you can go buy that new boat that you wanted because you're buying a lake house, or maybe you're wanting to get the refrigerator or washer and dryer because you're closing soon. I get it, right? Like you need the refrigerator, washer, dryer. But the reality is if you go and you open new accounts while you're under contract, the lender is going to check all of your information right before closing once more, just to make sure nothing funny came up. So if you go and open these new accounts, you may have just totally thrown off all of the numbers, the debt to income ratios that the lender's been working to keep perfectly aligned. So please wait until closing day. Right after closing, go to Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever you want to do, buy all the things you want, but not before. I've seen it time and time again, the hesitation of buyers, the what ifs that run through your brain. And this is a huge purchase, probably the biggest purchase of your life to date and maybe ever. So it deserves to be well thought out. However, hear me when I say there will never be the perfect time to buy. When rates were crazy low, we had lines out the door and we're selling for multiple offers. And now rates are a little bit higher, but you have a little bit more negotiation power. You're able to get those contingencies signed off on, which is, in my opinion, really imperative. Communities will grow and build around you. School dynamics could change. There are always going to be moving parts. You just have to make the best decision with the information that you have in hand today. Don't let the home buying process consume you. When you are financially, mentally, emotionally ready, trust yourself. I hope this video helped maybe shine some light on questions that you as the buyer might be having. If you have any other ones, as always, my email and information is below, so don't ever hesitate to reach out. I'm here to be your resource. Go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys on the next one.